Yeah. Okay. I also got the T-shirt on.
Oh, very nice. I got one as well. I got a black and white one.
Very nice.
I'm glad it got there.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It's nice. Really nice little surprise, that.
Yeah,
You know,
I thought it'd be a nice little thank you to get commissioned
yeah, it was good. So you got was it a female artist to do
from
the picture?
Austria.
All
Yeah,
right.
I saw her art on Twitter because she specializes in sort of anime and game characters. I was like, "Ooh, that'll do." Because rather than the one that did the art for our channel, and she's good, but it's more it's not the same. You could need kind of anime video game type looking characters. I thought she was really good at that. Yeah, I mean, she got the characters look from the games look really good.
Yeah. That's good. It's clever.
Greetings, YouTube. Welcome to Sunaru Gaming. I'm Sly SR. This is Graham Pike.
Hello.
Hello. Today's talk is going to be on platform games, and I thought I'd start with something a little bit different. Have you been playing any platform games recently?
I have, funny enough.
Ah.
Yeah. I think I can't remember how I found out about this game, but I think it was the fact that it has heavy metal music on it, which I have a little bit of a penchant to listen to occasionally. And
Nice.
so I think that must be the reason I found out about it. Balfaris, which is, I think it's done by the same people who did Slain Back from Hell or something, which is, I thought that's an older game, but it looks similar. It's really good because it looks 16-bit, but somehow it's better. You couldn't do it on a Super Nintendo or a Mega Drive, possibly a Neo, but the style is like 16-bit, so it's a little bit pixely here, but it's not. It just the graphics are just brilliant. The whole sort of gothic, sort of heavy metal look of it. It's like it's set in the future, but it's got weird creatures and demonic-looking characters.
Sounds really good. So
But what I really like about it is if it starts off relatively easy, like it doesn't seem to have levels. You just seem to go to save points, and then you'll pick up some new weapon. To start with, it's relatively easy. You do die at the occasional time, but if you're careful, or you sort of learn your skills. Basically, it's just there's two types. There's like a main firing weapon. There's a sword. There's like a more powerful weapon, but it uses up your energy or something. And you've got like a thing, so you can aim without moving, and it also gives you a shield. But again, that's limited. Okay. You can only use that a few times. So you got, and obviously jumping. No, it's really ingenious. Actually, it's not ingenious. There's nothing new in it. I just really like. I mean, to be honest, so a lot of platform games in the past, I've given up on, but this one, and it has got hard. It's basically you have to learn what to do, because initially you'll go into a situation, all your previous tactics aren't working, and then you have to work out, what, and obviously you die. But unfortunately, it's there's quite a few save points. You're not going back. I played it again this afternoon. There's this level where it's quite good actually. You slide down and you land on the back of a sort of beast. It looks like but it's submerged in liquid, but the liquid is like molten lava or something. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
It's not molten lava. It's something noxious and poisonous, because if you fall into it, you die instantly, sort of. So anyway, you slide down this fantastic looking sort of plant tree thing. You land on its back and it starts going along, and then these things come for you. So you have to look. But if you don't get them before they get to you, they attach themselves to you. So that's when the sword comes in handy. Your sword's really powerful actually, compared with your basic missile weapon. And anyway, so you're going along, and you have to jump up on things, bump off what you need to bump off, and then you have to land, but you have to do it in the time. So this thing carries on swimming. So if you're too slow, you've missed it. You just jump in the molten lava. If you're there too early, you have to wait, and more things will come at you. So you've got to try and time it, killing off everything that's there without taking, because it's quite a long little section before you get to the next save point. So you can't take much damage. It's quite good, because initially I started using too many of my powerful weapons. Anyway, so yes, it's like go along, jump up, go out, jump on something. It happens about 3 or 4 times. Eventually, you get all sorts. You've even got this tree which got a bit like sunflowers. Except obviously they're sending out things to kill it. And there's a bit of platforming in it as well, jumping up. But yeah, it's a really clever little level. I mean, it's a real relief when you finally finish it, because you're nearly to the end. You can see the last bit, and something kills you, because you've got a health meter going down at an alarming rate. But yeah, it's really good. When I finished that, I felt quite happy. the graphics and the music are so good, and it's just quite. You know what you need to do. That's a good thing. You just think, damn, you know. So, because sometimes you can get you get almost like 3/4 of the way through it, and then you die, and the next time you only get 1/4 of the way through it, and you die, and you think, oh, what's going on? But no, it's good. So yeah, I've got to the challenging parts definitely, but I'm still quite enjoying it. I'm not just thinking of, you know, sweat banging the controller down and getting angry. It's, you know, it's quite enjoyable, I must admit.
Does it use a second stick to aim?
I think it's because I tend to use the cross one, the analog digital one. I tend to use that for movement. There's use the 4, you know, cross, triangle, square, and there's 2 of the main weapon I've put onto the R2, and then there's things you press while you're going through. But yeah, it's mainly about 5 button presses to actually play the action scenes if you need them. But I can't think of what the triangle's for now. But anyway, no, it's enough in it to make it really interesting, but it's not silly complicated. You know. Yeah, sometimes you can find yourself, you know, because one of these games you can start to panic a bit, can't you? And you start sort of, well, I was pressing left. Why isn't it firing left? You know, you just sort of like putting a lot. I find you tend to press too hard if you're getting anxious.
Yeah.
But no, it's a really good game, and I also that sort of led me thinking, what other platform games have we got? I dug up at Sexted Neo, which is an old game, I think 2009, which again is a remake on the PS3 of an old 1985 game, which I think you can play the actual classic game on the PS3 version. I'm just playing the more updated one. But it's really good. It's just like a transforming robot. You're either like a walking mech or a jet. You just press one button. You can transfer instantly back and forwards and you need it a lot of the time.
It sounds really good.
Yeah, and also it's like it's very much a traditional platformer, as in there's lots of you go along on there, then you can't get to the next bit, or you can get like turned into a jet going around, pressing something, destroying something, and coming back. And there's all sorts of. It's quite maze-like at times, but it's not hard. You don't get lost, and so quite often what I tend to do is the technique is if there's sometimes mostly it's like tunnels, you get a big open space. Almost invariably, at the top of that space, there's lots of nasties waiting to zap you, but they don't come down. They just wait. So I tend to fly up there as the jet. As soon as I see him, I transform back to the robot, and he just falls slowly. And just because he's got much better fire, he's got this like aiming fire, just blasts everything side. So it's quite good. And it's a good little game. I downloaded it years and years ago. I must have had a quick go. I thought, that's good, and then got sidetracked on another game because when you've got loads of games, that happens.
Yeah.
And it was just the fact that I've been enjoying this Valfaris. I thought, let's have a look at that. You know, it hasn't got the sort of graphical splendor of a Valfaris, but it's enjoyable. It's not quite so stressful. Valfaris is quite hard work. You know, you really have to. Whereas this, you can take your time. Sometimes you can sort of explore little bits, and there are bits where you have to react fast and do the right jumps and kill the right things. But so well, perhaps it will get harder as it goes on. But yeah, it's the 2 like recent ones which I really enjoyed.
Brilliant.
Yourself?
Brilliant. I think where I've been playing a lot of Neo Geo recently, it sort of allowed me to fall back into platformers because platforming games aren't really my forte. Modern one's probably Omega or Amiga Strike. So you get 3 guys. One's got a shotgun, one's got an assault rifle, and one's got like a grenade launcher. The mechanics are really good. I was playing that for a while. I went quite far in it, and then I lost a bit of interest. And then I got Hunt Down, which was sort of a cyberpunk look. I really liked the look of it and was enjoying it. But I think by that point, I'd worn out on Amiga Strike, and then I recently bought Bite the Bullet, which is brilliant, a great concept, really funny. But I think I've burned out on modern platform.
Yeah.
There's a few sort of 3D platformers that have been pretty good. Mario Odyssey, because I'm not really a big fan of Mario games. But there's sections of that game where it goes into 2D, which is quite interesting, and you can take control of a little dinosaur for a short period of time, which is pretty cool.
We obviously got 2D platforms. You've got 3D platforms like Ratchet and Clank. I enjoyed that many years ago now, but that's really a platformer, but it's a 3D exploring game as well. So I wouldn't have initially thought of it as a platform game. But when I'm looking at games that come under platforms. Ratchet and Clank often comes up, and I'm thinking, I really like that. But I think also, even if you're just talking about 2D platformers, a lot of them have crossover, don't they? With RPGs, you can get what they call side-scrolling RPGs, which are basically a sort of an extended platform game with lots of role-playing elements and storytelling in it.
Yeah, that's what Omega Strike is, a bit like Castlevania or Metroid or something.
Yeah. I don't like too much story. I like a bit of story, a bit of background, a bit of get you into it, but I don't like it when there's too much talking. I want to get on with the action. I don't want to read load of text, like about 4 little backwards and forwards, and then let's get on with it. I found with Hardcore Mecha, that's one I got fairly recently. That's too much talking. It sort of ruins the action, really. You know what I mean? Even though you can fast forward, you still have to go through it and think, oh God. Almost like it's like the action's about a minute and a half, then you've got another minute and a half going through all the talking.
Oh, really?
So it's like it hasn't ruined the game, but it's sort of put the mockers on it a little bit. It's put me off it a bit, but there are, because when I saw it playing, I thought, that was really good. And when you're doing the action bits, it is good, because I like mechs and I like the sort of platformy nature of it, and it's like very accurate. There's a lot of platformers I call like one-person walk-along beat 'em ups, really. You're just somebody with a sword going around whacking everything that comes in this sight, and at the end of the level, there's a great big thing that they're trying to kill. I've seen quite a few like that, which I'm not really. I mean, I don't know. It's like it's like any genre. You tend to find ones that appeal to you more. I like something which is perhaps shoot 'em up with a bit of melee combat as well. Some jumping and a few simple puzzles. I don't really want to be thinking for hours. Oh God, how do I get through this? And like with that one I'm playing at the moment with Rail Forest, there are little puzzly things. All these bosses, you have to work out how to get them. It's like one I just the most recent boss I took on. It was just a giant sort of snake. You're on these there's about 3 different places you can stand on. You can climb up the side. So basically, all you do is you stand in one place, shoot at him, and then you move, because he's going to fire where you are. So you move somewhere else, fire 2 shots. He moves up, but the only downside on it, what he fires is like fire. So where he's fire, there's like a fire, and if you land on it, you get burnt on it or loss of your health. So I don't know what we got onto that, but yeah, I like a little bit of a puzzle element. But I've seen quite a few puzzle games, which is just like not a few platform games, which are just pure overcoming little puzzles. I don't think that would appeal to me. I think I'll just get
more something like Rockman / Mega Man.
Yeah, I like that. I've had a couple of those on the PS2, I think. Maybe on the Dreamcast, but I like Mega Man. It plays well. They look nice. It's sort of halfway between sort of action anime and like kiddie-fied, I suppose, but in a good way. They're not sort of nauseating or cheesy. They're quite entertaining. But I had Astro Boy on the Game Boy Advance, but I played it on the GameCube.
Oh, how was that?
It was quite good. It was a while ago now, but I haven't had a cube for a while. But I hadn't played the cube for a while. But it looked reasonably good, actually, considering it was a Game Boy Advance on your screen. It was boxed in a little bit, it was like borders. But it was quite enjoyable. I quite like Astro Boy character. He's quite amusing. I've actually got the film. There's a film Astro Boy that came out.
Oh, really?
It's not bad, actually. It's not as bad as you think. Yeah, it's a bit based on Pinocchio, isn't it? Really, the story.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I say there does seem to be a lot of crossovers, platforming. So it's like anything really. What's a shoot 'em up? What's a platform? It get the bit like music. What's jazz? God knows. There's so many different things. I tend to think when I think platform, I think 2D with jumping and negotiating. Unusual. Funny, since we were talking about doing a thing, I've been making a list of platform games I quite fancy getting. There's a lot around, but I probably looked at quite a few dozen, but I think there's about 6 that I quite fancy.
So what ones are they?
Right, the ones Slain Back from Hell, obviously, because it's like a earlier version of Val Forest. There's one called Well, there's one that it's not actually on any of the PlayStation, but it's called Ori and the Blind Forest. That looks really nice.
Oh, I know the one you mean. I've seen
Yeah.
trailers and things for it. It does look really good.
But I can't get that because I've only got a PS3.
Oh, is it on Switch?
And Neo Geo. There's the Trine ones look quite nice. I'm not sure they actually qualify as proper platformers, really.
Yeah, they're meant to be really good if your partner likes playing co-op games, platform type games, and you can be like a wizard and a witch, you know.
Yeah, they do look nice, and the graphics are lovely on those. There's one called it's an older game called Braid, which was originally on Well, it wasn't originally. There is on PS3. It came out about 2009, but they're doing an anniversary edition early next year, PS4 and PS5. And it just looks really unusual. It's like it's to do with manipulating time as well as being a platform adventure.
Okay.
But it's what Steam World Dig. I can't remember what 2. I don't. That looks quite interesting. I can't remember exactly what. There's another one called Salt and Sanctuary. That looks really interesting as well.
I don't know that one. I know Steam World. It's sort of very steampunky, isn't it?
Yeah. Salt and Sanctuary. That does look interesting. I can't remember a lot about it. I watched some videos of it. And the last one that I quite fancy is called Fury Unleashed, and also it's got an alternative name of Badass Hero. But that was quite good. But yeah.
Have you heard of Limbo?
Yes. There's actually another game out similar to that. I was looking at the other game and it said similar to Limbo.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really want a game just on atmosphere rather than gameplay. You know what I mean? I mean, I like a spooky atmosphere. I do. I like things to be clever and a bit different, but I still want it to be a good game, you know, a good session of gameplay, and rather than exploring stuff and then working out some weird little esoteric puzzle to get through. That's not the appeal to me.
You mentioned a 3D platform the other day, Bug.
Oh God, yeah, that's going back now. Saturn.
Yeah. I remember picking that up. I just scratching some change together. I think my aunt Nikki had a bit of change left over and she gave it to me. We went down to Blockbuster and it was still there and we picked it up second hand. I remember Bug, and then it's sort of addictive music, very silly animations. And
how much did it cost?
$7.99 or something. It's still got a sticker on it. It's in a cabinet somewhere.
That's weird. I mean, it seems funny that like games that you couldn't give away now they're becoming collectible, aren't they? You know, Dreamcast and Saturn and Mega Drive and that. It's weird. I mean, some of them are really good. Some of them, they're just old.
What was the other one? Croc. I remember playing Croc as well. That was more like a tank. It wasn't a tank, but tank controls. You know, where you sort of turn sideways and then you hold forwards and then you go in the direction that you're going in. I remember it having quite a Christmassy feel to one of the levels. I don't think it was Christmassy. I think it was like a iced frozen place and it just had Christmassy type music, but it wasn't as good as something like I can see why things like Mario and Sonic still hold up, and Rayman.
It's funny because when you look into platformers online now, they refer to a lot of them as Metrovania or Metroidvania. It's like a cross between Metroid and Castlevania, I suppose, is what they're saying. Yeah. Because to be honest, the only Metroid game I played was 3D. I can't remember which console it was on, but it was more of a 3D game rather than 2D.
It was the same with me, really. I mean, I played a Metroid game, but it was 3D. I don't think I've ever played a Castlevania game, but probably I might have played a demo, but it's not the same.
Yeah, same here.
I've never really played Castlevania. I mean, it comes up in Super Smash a lot as well. There's a lot of characters in that, but that's more of a sort of fighting beat-em-up platformer. But apart from that, I've not really played Metroid.
Well, I was just thinking, I was just talking earlier about that Battle Forest where you're going on the back of the screecher. It's very similar to a very old Saturn game, which I've mentioned in our previous talks, called Astal, A-S-T-A-L.
Oh,
yeah. I had the Japanese version of that, but that's a brilliant platform game. It's a really lovely, old-fashioned 2D graphics, not all pixelated. Well, a bit pixelated because it's on Saturn, but not that bad. It really looked nice. It was really drawn, and the whole game played nicely. But that had a bit where you jumped on the back of a beast, and it sort of went across some water. Things would go for you, and I think you had to like jump up and down it to make it stretch out or something. It was a weird little creature. I must admit, I used to back in the day, I used to find some platform games where you had to do perfectly timed jumps, otherwise you dead.
Mm.
I used to get on my nerves a bit.
I'm a bit crap at that, and it feels like you've pressed the button and it doesn't jump. That's what annoys me the most. Like, I pressed the fucking button and you didn't jump.
Yeah, or you've got to get right to the edge before you hit the jump button. Otherwise, you won't make the big gap. And you think, ugh. But yeah, that's all right. But I prefer, like in Rail Forest, you've got a lot of jumping, but you only die if you really make a stupid mistake on the jumps. You know, you'd have to really throw it almost like just walk off it rather than ultra precisional jumping. I suppose that's a type of skill that some platformers will love, but I find it a bit tedious. But you know, not that I don't mind a bit of jumping. Sometimes like you can have like on this Rail Forest, you're going up. There's lots of jumps and there's like rising water level. So you're getting up, sort of panicking because it's getting closer. You know? So yeah, little things like that can make it more interesting. But yeah, not the ultra precisional jumping. I say that's probably the highly skilled platformer.
Metal Slug had a few similar. I mean, it wasn't water. You had like a robot thing, didn't you? That would be climbing up and you'd be shooting down at it.
Oh, that bit where in Metal Slug, in the original Metal Slug, you're going. I think it's snowy, and then you're going up, and you go from side to side.
Oh yes.
And you have to shoot across, and people come in up, parachutists, and there's even a bit where you have to jump over a big rolling snowball. That could be quite frustrating, but it's not ridiculously hard. Some of the jumps are hard, but you just they're not ridiculously hard. They just make sure you get it right rather than. I've tried it 6 times. I started to go over. But yeah, talking near, I suppose there was a game which I don't know if you've seen called Blues Journey, which is a very early Neo game, and it looks to me. Well, I remember when I first saw it, I thought it just looked like a Super Nintendo game. It's graphically very plain for the Neo Geo. There's no sort of massive sprites and great colouring and animation, but it's like a traditional platformer, really. I must admit, it really didn't appeal to me at the time. Nintendo fan at the time, and I was into like Robo Army and Soccer Brawl, and seeing this little thing that looked like a Mario game didn't really appeal, so I didn't give it. There was another one called Spin Masters, where they got like yo-yo. Yeah, I think that's platforming. Yeah, and obviously Magician Lord. That was a very early game, but even though it had a sort of primitive movement, it was a good game. It was enjoyable. Hard again, being an arcade game. I suppose in a way, Top Hunter, which is I know a game you've not taken to, but I really like. Again, it's probably better with 2 players. But that's got platforming elements.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's classed as a sort of platformer adventure, I suppose.
I'm just not very good at platform games, and I struggle to enjoy them. I mean, I really enjoyed Amiga Strike because you would unlock certain things because you go to areas and be like poles or certain things that you couldn't climb on or reach or anything. And then as you beat bosses and you gain little things, now I can climb across all these poles and things like that. So it made it a bit more interesting. But something like Rayman, I'm terrible at Rayman.
I think I had one version.
Good at it.
I think I played a sample of it on a disc. I played the magazine. I just didn't like the look of it, to be honest. But yeah, I know what you mean. I think the trouble is they are tricky. They're quite hard. And repeating levels. If you're into exploring, sometimes you have to repeat bits. Yeah, they can be you can get bogged down in them sometimes if they don't get it right. And if you had a platform game, we just whiz through it. You'd hate it, just okay, I got to see it again, but it went past in 20 minutes and I didn't have to do a lot. You know what I mean? It's that balance, isn't it? Difficult enough to make it a challenge, but not too difficult, so you just put it away and never play it again.
I suppose it's a genre that, because has its roots very early on, it's quite oversaturated. Some with quite a lot of crap as well.
I
remember playing a load of crap games when I was younger, and they were just mostly platform games.
Yeah, I've looked at quite a few recently, and some of them they just think, well, because it's a platform game, we don't need to bother with the graphics. In fact, in one of them, the character's a square, and it jumps and it does stuff. And there's another bit where it's a piece of meat, I think. And it's it looks quite amusing. It just gets splattered. Boy? Yeah, I can't remember what it's on, but it's just make an effort. I was like, classic good looks, and actually you put it on, And it's just like, it's not even that 16-bit. It's more like, I don't want to look at something like that. And a really good telltale sign, which I mentioned before, with shoot 'em ups with platforms, when the sound effects, when you're shooting something, it goes, pew. No. I'm not. It's almost like they can't be bothered to program it, or they can't, to get a decent sound, or perhaps they think it's authentic. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's authentically crap. And I'm not. I suppose there are. I should say that there's a lot of people out there that remember the 8-bit period and the 16-bit period a lot, and they want games that look exactly the same. But I can't think of why. If they're that keen, they've probably got a Mega Drive and a Super Nintendo anyway, and a Master System. So why would they want to see that again on a PS4? Or a PS5 probably though. I see you noticed I put what's your favourite sequel on Twitter? Did you see that? Somebody's put what's your favourite sequel?
And you put Zero Gunner 2, yeah.
Well, I actually think what's my favourite sequel? Zero Gunner 2. I've never played 1, but because it wasn't on the Dreamcast, but 2 was spot on. Yeah, it's a game I missed really. But,
one thing that's worth an honourable mention is Cuphead.
Not heard of it.
Not heard of it. So Cuphead looks like, I mean, the graphics are amazing, but it's done like an old Warner Brothers cartoon. Warner Brothers? Yeah, so it's done. Was it Warner Brothers? It's done like an Acme. You'll have to have a look. I mean, I've got it. I picked it up on Switch. It's tough, but it's also 2-player as well. Actually, you play as Cuphead and Mugman, and the amount of effort that has gone in to make this, it looks amazing. But it's I think it's meant to be one of like the toughest platformer games ever made. And it is hard. You really need to put time into it, and it's a bit grueling. All the patterns. I mean, it's very well made, and it looks fantastic. It plays fantastic. It plays at 60p as well, which is quite interesting. But they've put all the chromatic aberration that you used to get on the very old cartoons as well. So it looks exactly like what they're going for as well. And
sounds interesting, yeah. A game that seems to be recommended by a lot of people, though it doesn't look appealing to me, is called Shovel Knight. Basically, it's a knife with a shovel. Yeah. And it's because somebody, I think it might have been a Bloodstone, so one of these games where you can create your own character, build your own character. One of them, somebody had obviously created Shovel Knight for this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, I haven't. I've watched a few videos of Shovel Knight. It's not really my thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be built and developed in a very specific way. I think it's one of the most popular games of all time, or of the last 10 years, probably more likely. It's been ported to everything, Shovel Knight, but I'm not that heavy into platformers, and it's meant to be fairly tough as well. I don't mind tough games, but tough platformers, I'm crap. So. I mean, there's the platform games. I remember at the stage they started to evolve, sort of 2-point sort of isometric. We mentioned Sonic 3D before.
No, that was a good game. And Steam Gear Mash, which was of a similar ilk.
Oh, I don't know that one.
That was on Saturn. Yeah, Steam Gear Mash. Steam Gear was a little robot. He whizzed around in an isometric world. I can't remember a lot about it. I think he could shoot. And, it was similar to sort of Sonic 3D. But yeah, Sonic 3D, which was really 2.5D, I suppose, was a really good game, especially on the Saturn, because they did a Mega Drive version, which wasn't as good. Put down a lot by the critics, but in my case, I thought, no, it was a good game, good music, entertaining play, and I kept at it. I think the best thing is saying, what's a good game? You keep playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I kept going at it. I didn't get worn down by it.
Sonic with critics, I mean, and there's a fair point. The way Sonic's evolved from 2D into 3D, it's and where it is now, I think where Sonic is now, it's quite sad to see what's happened to Sonic in a way. But like you're saying, it's the gameplay itself. If you keep coming back to it, Sonic 3D, Sonic Adventure, which was a little bit janky, but also that was very good. I mean, it sort of started making its way onto 3D quite well, and then it sort of seemed to simmer out, and then it's become something. Sonic's a bit of a joke now, unfortunately. It seems to have found its way onto over to Nintendo. It seems to be really big next to Mario. There's quite a few Sonic and Mario games.
Well, and let's face it, I can remember when it first came out on the Mega Drive. I don't know if it was on the Master System possibly, but I think thinking about it was nicely presented. Plus, it was fast. You know, it wasn't like ding 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 boing, ding ding ding. It was like you know, and you go around loops and all sorts of things. Fed up with it. It was too samey, and there was bits when you went underwater and clever little things like that. But
I preferred it to Mario when I was younger. I preferred Sonic.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
And Sonic and Knuckles was a really good game. They did, and the graphics were amazing. The controls were a bit tighter as well. And you could select between Sonic and Knuckles, which was quite nice. And Knuckles does that sort of floaty flying thing. I think that was when it was first introduced.
I think that's one of the reasons a lot of the Sonic fans didn't like Sonic 3D was it wasn't as fast. It didn't have, it wasn't whizzing around loop-de-loops and things like that a lot. It was more of a isometric adventure. He ran around a bit, but it wasn't hyper speed. I think that's what. But it's funny. I think we both agree on this. There's my two favourite Sonic games: Sonic 3D and Sonic R.
Yeah, no, same here.
Which is a weird little racing game, but it was just really good. I just played it. I really enjoyed it. You know, finding all the different alternative routes, getting all your power-ups, getting all your different routes and characters. Yeah, really.
It worked and it was different. I mean, again, they not to get too off topic, but they make Sonic kart games now, like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Why? Why? The characters run, they fly, they do all their own things. Surely that is a sort of unique thing of itself, a novelty of itself to sell a game off of. You could have some sort of story where something happens to Sonic and he's not as fast as normal, and it allows the others to do their. Yeah.
I think it's purely like anything, Mario Kart, and it became so popular. Everybody thought we've got to do a version of that. Sonic Kart, bloody what was that? That was Crash Bandicoot.
CTR, yeah.
It's all the same, but just different characters. And you're thinking, no, Sonic. I don't know how fast he's supposed to run, but I imagine it's as fast as a car. So let's have him, whizzing along as he does. I mean, that's what that Sonic Adventure. I think it was on the Dreamcast, wasn't it? I remember thinking, wow, going 3D at that speed, it was quite impressive. Yeah, it didn't seem to control quite as well as the 3D was. But, it was a novelty, flipping hell, whizzing along and trying to react in time to all the different things.
Yeah, you got used to it. To it. And like you were saying, I mean, there's other characters. I think the other novelty to that is when you, at the time, probably not so much now if you went back and played it, but at the time, they felt different, didn't they? Tails flew and he was a lot slower, so there was a bit more control to that. Knuckles did that gliding thing, and it sort of allowed you to. I mean, that was something in Sonic that they seemed to do really well. The other characters had their own personalities and their own different things, which they've tried to take to more extremes now. It just I don't know. I don't like it.
No, they lose it, don't they?
Knuckles looks ridiculous. They made him like really massive and muscly. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Did you ever play Altered Beast?
That's wasn't that one of the ones that used to come sometimes built into the Master System?
It's possible. I had it.
I know
on Mega Drive.
Altered Beast. I think I might have had a quick go on it. I can't remember. Yeah,
it didn't actually control that well, but the concept was quite good. You'd start off as a bloke, and then go rise from your grave, and you'd come out the grave, and you'd just be like a loincloth. You start punching things. Eventually, you get a power up, and then you turn into like a wolf. And so the concept was really good, but they could probably make a more modern, much more modern version where that works really well. Definitely. The idea of a platform game where you can get different power-ups and then become creatures, take on bosses and things. I like the idea of that. I think that would work quite well. Alex Kidd, I think we briefly touched on that in another video.
Never played it, but it looked okay.
Altered Beast, which we've mentioned, Comic Zone. Echo the Dolphin, would you class that as a platformer?
Didn't like it. It looked really. When it first came out, it looked really impressive, and the music was new agey, nice, but no, it was not the game I enjoyed.
I didn't mind it too much. And it came out on the Dreamcast as well. It was like a sequel or something.
A lot better looking version, but
Definitely. Shinobi, that was quite a popular. I remember that being really popular.
Yeah. I played that, but didn't.
Yeah.
It was a bit like Strider, wasn't it? That one. That sort of run along doing slides and things like that.
Crash Bandicoot, which was sort of became one of the biggest platforming games on PlayStation. I actually really liked the first one, but I didn't really get into Crash Bandicoot, but I liked the first one a lot. I never really played the other ones so much because it sort of drifted away from stuff. I know. I mean, I had a PS1, but I had a PS2 as well much later on. But it was never Crash Bandicoot was always something other people had. And I enjoyed the first one, but later on, not so much.
Yeah, I was more of a Saturn guy.
And then Crash Bandicoot, I couldn't. Not Crash Bandicoot. Banjo Kazooie, I couldn't get into.
Yeah, that was a Nintendo 64, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I had that, and I tried to. I
that.
could always try to force myself to enjoy it. I never quite really enjoyed it.
How about top 3 platform games of all time? What are yours?
Top 3 platform games of all time. Probably a lot of what we mentioned.
Yeah, well, it will, yeah.
So probably Sonic and Knuckles. Probably that X-Men game, and Crash Bandicoot.
Really?
How about you?
I was trying. I had it worked out earlier, but I forgot. Estelle on Saturn. Estelle, definitely. That was
Nice.
super brilliant game.
Oh no, Metal Slug.
Oh yeah. It's not like conventional. Is it? Really?
We put Metal Slug in so many other lists, then maybe it's fair enough. It's left out for this one.
I think Valfaris has got to be in there now. Really. I'm just trying to think of other ones I've played and really enjoyed. It's gone out of my head. Steve, I should keep the question. Bloody hell.
It's harder when you ask someone and then you're like, oh crap, what are mine?
Yeah. Yeah, Mega Man, possibly. Some of them I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think we're done, don't you?
I don't think there's too much. I can do an outro. Thanks for joining us for another Let's Talk, and I will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.